Hey everybody, this is Amy Wells, Titans Amy from the Tennessee Titans.
This is Nate Bain, Titans social media manager.
Hey everybody, it's Brett Bryan, game day host of Titans Radio, and you're listening to the Titans of the Southwest podcast with Lito and Big Mo.
And what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Titans of the Southwest podcast. I am your host today. I'm Lito, as you guys know, and with me, as always, is my partner,
Big Mo.
Big Mo. Today we are recapping the preseason game 1 versus the Green Bay Packers, and we're going to preview the preseason game 2 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So right off the bat, Mo, what did you think about our Titans in Green Bay?
I really liked what I saw, man. For a preseason game, that's exactly what I was hoping to see. Was a score on the first drive, something that we haven't seen in a very long time, man. I was thinking back to last year and the excitement that I had going into that first preseason game against Carolina, because we had new receiving weapons and all these things, and projected to go 12-4, all that hype that was surrounding that team, and seeing the offense just run very flat and very, terrible, for lack of a better word. And, Mario having to stick out there for an extra series, and it was just bad. And, fast forward a year, and it looks like a totally new team, totally different team, new look uniforms add to that. I thought they looked clean, but Mariota's passes were sharp, bro. He was sharp, and he didn't even have Matthews or Davis out there. So I liked it, man. I liked what I saw from the first team offense. Now, as for the defense, I wasn't expecting Brett touchdown and score on the first drive of the Packers. The dude had a shot, but I wasn't expecting him to march down the field like he did, which kind of rattled me a little bit, because I was expecting us to have a 7-0 lead. I was expecting Packers to punt. But then throughout the rest of the game, I liked what I saw out of our first team starters. The depth of the team is kind of suspect right now. But what did you think?
Yeah, I think that first drive heading down, it kind of worried me a little bit as well. And then I remembered that Brett Hundley was starting for a little bit last year, so that kind of put me a little bit at ease. Because I think seeing Brett Hundley out there, like, oh no, it's just a backup, he's not going to do anything, we'll keep this lead for a little while. But then he goes down and scores, and it's like, okay, first of all, he did start for at least a few games last year, so he has some starting experience. Second of all, preseason I kind of view as more along the lines of, we want our offense kind of in a rhythm, and we just want to see where our defense is at. Vrabel said it before, I think it was Vrabel, that we just want to kind of gauge how we're lining up, the fundamentals, which we weren't great at on that one, because penalties were crazy in that entire game. Oh, it was very, very sloppy. But I have pretty good faith that they're going to actually clean that stuff up, or at least get yelled at for it, which is all you can really hope for at this point. But offense, I loved it. It wasn't Robisky, I think, is the main thing. Yeah. It wasn't Robisky. It wasn't just this flat, just monotone Ben Stein type of offense. There was actually some stuff going on, and it's like, okay, we're mixing it up a little bit. We're doing this, we're doing that, and like you said, Mariota only had to stay out there for one series. It was great, and you're right, his passes, the ball's coming out quick. He doesn't seem to have to sit there and wait so long for the plays to develop. He's got like 2 reads and run kind of thing, and that's good, because that's his skill set. It's just like bam, 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 gone, and that's just the way it should be. His passes were coming out quick, coming out on target, and had a good amount of zip behind him too, which I think kind of goes back to him harping on the fundamentals. He's got to get his base. We've heard him say that all offseason and since we've got these new coaches, and it seems to actually be making a difference, which is kind of nice to see something translate from practice to quote unquote game speed for preseason game. So that was really nice to see. And you're right, we didn't even have Matthews or Davis out there, and we're still doing really well. I think the wide receiver group's going to be a really interesting group to keep an eye on as far as who's number 3, 4, or 5 if we decide to keep that many of them on. I know a lot of people like Deontay Burnett. I'm kind of partial to him as well, but I thought this was a really good way to get a look at some of these players that we don't see that much. Burnett, Wadley, Finch, Landry, all of these guys, it was really good to see them out there. Obviously, Finch had the sack. Landry had the sack fumble. Akram Wadley, I'm kind of really liking him. I know it was just one preseason game, but I really dug his style. He's got a little bit of patience, not obviously Le'Veon Bell style or level or anything, but he doesn't just run into a wall. He waits for it to kind of develop a little bit. And I think we tweeted this out earlier. There was a video of him running along the near sideline, and he took that long, that Barry Sanders, Walter Payton kind of step. And then as soon as he saw that it wasn't going to fake the guy out, he just put the foot down, put his head down, and just ran straight at him. And it's like, sweet. Like, don't get me wrong, I can appreciate everything that flu season did for us, but at this point, if I'm weighing everything, just because Wadley's age is so much further, so much younger, I mean, why not have him as, RB3 to me? Plus, he has returned kicks. He had one kickoff return for 64 yards. That's awesome.
The only concern with Wadley is the ball security. And I think if he can get that under control, I think he definitely has a shot to make the team. And it helps that he can service as a serviceable kick returner. He can play as a kick returner on special teams, which, Flu plays special teams a little bit too, but he's not going to be returning no kicks.
No.
I still say there's a chance we could keep 4 running backs, man. Llewellyn looked pretty good to me, man. Honestly, he looked pretty good. The only thing that set him apart from Wadley was Wadley's kick return. You know what I mean? That special teams appearance that's going to make a difference down the road.
Yeah, I get that. But flu season kind of seems like he's a mixture of Dion Lewis and Derrick Henry, which is not a bad thing because he could sub in for either one of those if one of those guys go down. He's just kind of an amalgamation of the two. But Wadley seems like his own style. Like, he is his own player. He has kind of this different style. He's a really, shifty player. And I don't know. It just seems different to me. And maybe it's just because it's a new shiny toy on the team. So I'm just like, ooh, let's do this. But I like him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's going to be my off-season crush or what, but I thought he did really good. Obviously, Finch for being undrafted, same with Wadley, he did good. And Landry,
really good.
I know we tweeted out that I think it was Mike Miracles who did that really awesome thread.
Oh yeah,
all the different moves that he did to get down through it, and Finch
skilled, man.
Yeah,
highly skilled pass rusher.
Oh, he is, and Finch saw it. He liked it, retweeted it, everything, and it's just like cool. Like he knows that people are keeping an eye out for those kind of stuff, and that we see it and appreciate it, kind of thing, which I thought was really neat.
No, I'm with you there, man. And you mentioned off-season crush. I've always been a fan of Finch, but I think the off-season crush that's starting to develop for me is Nick Williams. I mean, that catch, the way he plucked the ball out of the air, and made those extra yards after catch. That's what we want to see, man. And I don't know if you caught the Vrabel press conference where he mentioned Nick Williams, and he praised him for what he did outside of the catch. I guess he was cheering on one of the teammates that I think it was Jennings. When Jennings scored the touchdown, that he saw Nicky Williams there just amped up and pumped for his teammate to score. You know what I mean? He was excited and happy for Jennings to have that opportunity to score a touchdown. And he also made a key tackle on special teams. So I'm thinking Nick Williams has a good shot, man. I did my own research on Nick Williams after the game played out because I didn't really know much about him. I knew we got him from Atlanta, but I didn't really know his history or his production to the T.
Yeah.
But they used to call him Scrappy in Atlanta, man, and I guess that's because he's exactly that. He's scrappy. He's blue chip. He's everything that John Robinson looks for in a player, that Mike Vrabel is looking for in a player that he wants to coach. I'm like so impressed by an interview clip. I think I retweeted it, man. I don't know if you saw it or not, but they're talking to Nick and they're asking him, what do you think about the team and your teammates, and kind of asking him a range of questions. And his answers were perfect for a teammate, bro. Like, he mentioned that he's built and designed to be in the slot, a slot receiver. He knows the role of a slot receiver, which is mainly third downs and becoming a chain mover. He also mentioned his familiarity with the offense in terms of the terminology, and that's given him a slight edge over some of the younger backs or the younger receivers that are on the team. Another thing that he mentioned was playing special teams. And he said, there's no role he'll shy away from. He'll play any spot. He just wants to be a part of the team. Like, that's my off-season crush right now, man. Whether or not he still shines once our other receivers come through, I don't know. But for right now, I mean, he's up there.
Yeah, that makes sense. He seems good, and he did kind of come out of nowhere for me. I was looking at, obviously just about everyone else, and then that catch happened, and it was like, oh wait, who is this? And then so I kind of saw it. I don't know if I know as much as you might know about him, so I'm gonna have to go in and do my research on him. But he does seem, well, I mean, let's just be honest. He seems like a Patriot wide receiver, like a smaller white slot receiver. Like, he seems like something that would fit into the scheme of people who came from the Patriots way. But I don't think it's so much that, but I think it's exactly what you said. I think it is willing to do anything scrappy, just knows what to do. He probably has a great nose for the first down marker. But yeah, I mean, he probably does have those kind of things like built into him. So I'm completely okay. I mean, obviously anything to help the team. And another person that is doing really well with saying all the right things and a big team player is our new acquisition of Kenny Vaccaro. I mean, obviously we signed him whenever Sip went down, and we love Sip. He's a great friend of the show. Get well soon, Sip. I mean, everyone's pulling for you. Sip squad for life. Vaccaro was saying all the right things as far as teamwork, and he's coming in and he's not making any big statements or anything. He's just shutting up and learning the playbook. And I heard on, I think it was one of the radio stations, I don't want to say the wrong one, but one of them, the first person to actually get Vaccaro and teach him the new system was Sip. Yeah, he was just like, hey, I mean, they breed that type of team first mentality here, and it's absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see him like completely up to speed and actually plugged in, and it's like, okay, how different is it going to be? Like, he gets equated to Cyprian a lot for being like a thumper and a linebacker, strong safety hybrid. And so it's like, okay, how different is it going to be? Are we going to have to adjust anything we do or what? Because Crookshanks was looking really well until he got hurt covering that kickoff. And that one kind of hurt because I know a lot of people had really high hopes for Crookshank as well. And have they said how long he's going to be out? Like, I know the whole injury thing is very hush-hush with Vrabel. Have you heard anything?
No, they haven't said anything specific, and Vrabel's not going to either. I know the most information that's come out is shoulder. He hasn't been put on IR yet, so maybe there's a chance he could recover. I'm thinking maybe it could be collarbone. Really? Something upper body.
Yeah.
But only time will tell, man. Only time will tell what happens. And you mentioned Vaccaro. I mean, I've been rolling with him since he was at Texas, man.
That's right.
I hook 'em horns, man.
Yeah.
I was a big on Vaccaro, man, and the biggest difference with him and Sight is he's a little more of a chess piece. Like, you could throw him on a tight end and he's not gonna get burned, bro. He won't. He doesn't thump as hard as Cyprian. I mean, he could lay the wood, but Cyprian, I mean, he's on another level in that sense. There's no better run stopper in the league than Cyprian. But Vaccaro will be good, man. He'll be good, and, I mean, he'll have the pieces around him. A lot of people criticize him for, having a couple good years with the Saints and then kind of falling off the face of the earth and wondering why the Saints didn't try to keep him. Well, it's crazy if you think about it, man. Like, go back and look at the secondaries that Vaccaro was a part of when he was asked to do just so much. I remember, I think the Saints had signed Jarius Bird. He was from Buffalo Bills. They had signed him, and they were supposed to be a top 2 tandem, but Bird got hurt and hardly played. And, Vaccaro was asked to do just so much, man. So I think with the pieces that we have, even though it didn't really show on that first series against Green Bay, I think it'll start to mesh together very, very well, man. And he'll only be asked or put in positions to do what he does best, as will everybody else.
Yeah, because it seems like we have a good cornerback, Ryan Jackson and Butler, to cover the wings, and Byard back there roaming is a scary thing by itself. And now we can, once Vaccaro kind of gets up to speed, then we can go full force and cover and hit kind of thing. And he may not knock a Travis Kelce out of the playoff game or anything, but it seems like he'll make people think twice about coming over the middle or doing that kind of stuff. So that's all we can really ask for. I know his contract wasn't crazy or enormous or anything. I mean, there's even bonuses for
cheap, bro.
Yeah, there's bonuses for if he makes the 53-man roster. So it's like, oh well, then we're not really missing out on anything. And I know a lot of people are kind of concerned about the whole Vrabel not discussing injuries because it's not something we're used to. We're used to getting all the information that we want, but it's like, hey man, this is what he came from, of just not discussing it. I remember there was a time when Brady was listed on the injured list of just like a hand injury, but he always played every single game. Like, that's just kind of how they do things, and it's what he was brought up in. And same with J-Rob. And I know I talked to someone earlier, it's like, we can't have the mantra of in J-Rob we trust if we don't actually trust him. Like, trusting whenever times are easy, that's easy. That's I mean, anyone could do that. But whenever there's something that you really want or want to know, that's when it's hard to trust him. So it's like, okay, we trust you. I mean, J-Rob has definitely earned it. Vrabel is his first year, so he might not have earned it in some people's eyes, but I mean, he's an extension of John Robinson, so it's like, okay, here we go. Like, I'd like to know.
Have you seen now that you're talking about top secret stuff? Have you seen that leak that was on Instagram, I believe, about Rashaan Evans?
I haven't. I need to get more active in Instagram. I know that. But no, I haven't seen that. What's going on?
Okay, here's what's going on, bro. Apparently, Rashaan went to buy furniture at a furniture store. And the guy, one of the employees, I'm guessing, at the furniture store, said that he talked to him and that Evans appeared healthy. He appeared in good spirits, and the eye test, he didn't appear injured. And so I guess they got to talking or whatever, and Evans told him that he's supposed to start in the Pittsburgh game, which will be next week after we play Bucks, preseason week 3. Yeah. That's when he's supposed to be active, man. So whether or not that's smoke or whether or not that's fire, who knows? But it was a good sign to see Evans back at practice today. Yeah. Because the dude had fallen off the face of the earth, bro. Nobody knew what the hell was going on with it.
Yeah. And it was a little concerning considering it was our first pick. But, I mean, he's not walking around with the cast. He's not, like, being carried around in a gurney or anything. It's like, okay. Like, he's not on the PUP list. I'm pretty sure they know what's going on, and, like, we might have a couple weeks without knowing, but he should be fine. And as long as he wasn't buying furniture in a big freaking leg boot, I think we'll be okay. And
yeah, no, he looked fine, bro. There was a picture, and he took a picture with the guy, and they're like doing the little side hug or whatever, and he has a big old grin from ear to ear, bro. I mean, he looks good, bro. He looks healthy. Oh. But I just got a little concerned with it because all the speculation of what it could be. I remember reading somewhere that they thought it was his hamstring. That one of the guys that I know that was attending the practice where Evans got hurt said that he was just tracking the ball and just fell awkwardly and didn't get up and then, left. And then another report I read was, like I said, he was grabbing the hamstring. Another piece of information that I saw on Twitter, I believe, was that he could have a heart condition. and that it wasn't heat related at all. And that one was the real concerning one to me. So when all these rumors are flying around, man, it's hard not to get the little anxiety, bro. I'm wondering, hey, where's Rashawn at? I hope he's fine. I hope his health is great just for his own well-being, man. Not necessarily football related, but hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully it isn't nothing to do with his heart, and hopefully we see him in Pittsburgh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have big reservations. I haven't heard anything about his heart. I have pretty big reservations about anything with his heart because those guys go through so much testing before they even come out into the draft, and especially if you're considered a first-round talent. I mean, look at there's been a lot of linemen, but the most recent one that comes to mind is Nick Fairley. Like, they caught something with him, and they're like, I don't know, that's kind of iffy. And, like, a couple other ones, and they dropped. And, like, it's not just our doctors evaluating him. It's 32 other teams with people that they trust evaluating. And so, like, I highly doubt it's going to be his heart. It seems very likely that it is a lower body issue because all the workouts that I saw him doing in today's practice was all upper body and just kind of staying in shape and getting in shape and, doing the ropes and stuff like that. So the hamstring makes sense. And I don't think, I doubt he pulled it. He probably just strained it or something. And he's smart enough to know, just go down. Like, you're in practice, man. It's okay. Like, you're a first round pick. You're the top pick. It's okay. Just go down, take it easy, just chill out. And they're smart enough also on the other end to just pull him out, hold him out, let him heal up completely because we don't want a Corey Davis type offseason of let's push him out there, week to week, make him go out there 2 weeks after, and then he tweaks it again. Just to hold him out. It's okay. Keep him in the meeting rooms. That's fine. We'll keep him up to speed. But a hamstring would make sense, but it could be anything, literally anything below the waist. It could be a groin. Yeah. It could be a hamstring. It could be tweaked his knee.
Well, they said it wasn't the groin. They said it wasn't the groin, though.
Oh, okay.
Because he had that groin injury while he was at Bama. But they said they can confirm it's not the groin. So.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a little bit of information.
Yeah, there's one we can cross off the worry list there, bro.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. And it's just preseason. I mean, we have 1 week of preseason out of the way. We still have 3 weeks left of preseason. We're only 25% in to the preseason. Like, we're okay. And if he comes back for the Pittsburgh game, he'll still have half of the preseason worth of experience. I'm not that worried. It would be nice to know, but I'm not stressing out about it. It's just, It is what it is kind of thing. We still have Harold Landry, who strip sacked and looked great. And I think it helps that he goes up against Taylor Lewan, the highest paid lineman in NFL history, every single day. I think that is huge to his growth. And he's said multiple times the main thing that he needs to realize is that he deserves to be here. So that's just going to come with reps. Once he gets those in, and once he goes up against, teams in another colored jersey and keeps succeeding, he'll be perfectly fine. We basically got 2 first-round talents. One is just kind of nursing an injury for a little bit, and he'll be back in 2 weeks. Yeah. It could be a heck of a lot worse.
Yeah, plus, like, preseason week 3, that's the only important game in the preseason because that's when the ones will see most action.
Yep.
Usually play well into the third quarter.
Yeah.
4th game, we're not going to see much of anybody, man.
Now, Evans might be out there a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Evans might be out there a little bit longer, even though he would be technically considered a 1, just to kind of get him up to speed and just to kind of catch him up from the games that he missed. But other than that, you're exactly right. They're not going to risk hurting anybody. They're not going to risk anybody getting, a sprained ankle, a twisted foot, anything 1 week before the season starts. So 3 is the most important game, and I mean, I'm fine. I'm not stressing at all. Like, if both of them were out and if they were on the PUP list and everything, then I'd be like, holy cow, we're freaking out. We need to go and do something. But right now, it's just like, it is what it is. I trust J-Rob, and I think people need to just take a breath and realize that the mantra of in J-Rob we trust actually means something. So stop freaking out. Stop setting your house on fire. Everything's okay. Just relax.
And I think with that too, you bring up a good point because I don't think it's nobody's doubting J-Rob. They're a little more speculative of Vrabel, and that's the biggest thing. If you trust John Robinson, you trust Mike Vrabel, because Robinson wouldn't have put Vrabel in that position if he didn't trust him and trust his judgment.
Exactly.
If he doesn't want to disclose anything on injuries, he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? And as much as we hate that, some of us who want to know every little detail about what's going on, I mean, it is what it is. I know a lot of people on social media, a lot of people on the national network, a lot of people on other podcasts that I've heard, that nobody's really too happy with Vrabel's top secret approach. But, I mean, just give it a little more time. If we go 0-16 Brown style, which I don't see happening, then it's going to be a problem. But until then, just like you said, relax. We'll be in good shape.
Exactly. And I mean, I know Kaharski has been drilling on this and making a huge deal out of it, and I don't know if he's doing it for like shock value or if he has turned into the Fox News of Titans coverage, but it's just like, dude, just chill out. Like, we're okay. It's really, really okay. I know you want to know everything. I know you want to have breaking news so that way the people who pay $15 a month to get 2 tweets instead of 1 tweet will be worth it and have their money justified, but just chill out, man. Like, everything's okay. We're so used to a certain level of coverage in the league that, like, we got spoiled. And now we're getting on the same level of everybody else. And I don't know about you, but 5 years ago, if you would have told me, hey, we're going to be on the level as everybody else, every other team in this league, I would have been like, heck yeah. Like, cool. It's about time. Like, that's awesome. So, yeah, now that we, have a content-driven kind of platform, it would be nice to know, but I mean, there's nothing we can really do. It's okay.
It's just different, man. People got used to. I know media members have spoken about they used to have access inside the locker rooms, and they'd get us clips that you and I liked.
Yeah,
we like to hear what they're saying in the locker room, but that's over, bro. That ship sailed, and we got to get used to it. Now we're not going to get those locker room little snippets of cool quotes from Derrick Henry or whoever. You know what I mean? We're not going to get those quotes, and that's fine.
We got to also think that was a player decision, because Vrabel in his first couple interviews said, like, you may not get the same kind of access. And, like, if they don't want you there, then you're not going to be there type of thing. And we haven't seen a single locker room interview this year. So, obviously, they don't want them in there, so they're not going in there. And Vrabel is doing exactly like a good coach should and backing his team and just saying, deal with it. And then the sunglasses come down. Like,
the locker room's a sacred place, bro. Like, where we played, like, nobody just went in and out of it. If you weren't a part of the team, you didn't go in there.
Exactly.
And that's just what it is, bro. So, I mean, I get it, bro. I get it. I mean, it is what it is. We'll just have to see how it plays out, and I'm not too overly concerned with that. But on that note, we'll go ahead and start previewing the upcoming game against Tampa Bay. We have joint practice with them starting on Wednesday, I believe, Wednesday and Thursday. So they'll be coming to town. I'm pretty sure it's in Tennessee. Yeah, they'll be coming to town.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting, man. It's going to be very interesting because I kind of caught a little bit of the Bucks and Dolphins game. And the whole second quarter was Jameis Winston, man, because he's not running with the first team, of course. But
wait. Why isn't Jameis Winston running with the first team?
Because he's suspended, man. So they're preparing Fitzpatrick, who's going to start the season. They're preparing him, so he's getting all the first team reps. So Fitzpatrick pretty much played the entire first quarter.
I'm not worried about Fitzpatrick.
The Amish rifle still has it, dude.
He has it, but wait until the game is actually on the line, and that's when Fitzpatrick shows everybody why he's a perpetual backup. He will sling the ball around great, and then whenever the game is on the line and you need a first down, or you need to convert a third, or you need to go down the ball or down the field and actually get it within field goal distance at the very least, that's when he completely collapses like a Jenga tower with your 5-year-old. It's ridiculous. So I'm not worried about Fitzpatrick at all. Winston, he's got some improvisational skills that make it extremely frustrating. What I want to see on this Bucs game is how we handle Evans.
Evans, Deshaun Jackson, Chris Godwin. It's going to be a bigger test than last week, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And this is going to be really put an emphasis on our defensive backfield. Like Malcolm Butler, like I'm not saying he took a playoff by any means at all. But like
some of the perfect coverage, man.
Some of the plays, the big plays against Green Bay happened against Malcolm Butler and things like that, especially in the very beginning, obviously. But it's like, okay, like you need to strap those cleats up extra tight right now because this is the defensive backfield test right here. Because yes, Deshaun Jackson is obviously he's got speed, he's got the veteran.
Dory will be on him.
Exactly.
He's going to cover Deshaun.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm thinking a Dory on Deshaun, Butler on Evans, and Ryan on Godwin. And if anything, if they do man, that's what I'm thinking. And this is going to be their test this year or this week.
Yeah, or they'll probably do a little bit of bracket coverage with Evans too, and let Byard kind of roam around to help to play back. That way Evans don't burn him deep.
Do you think
it's going to be interesting to see under the middle with O.J. Howard to see how our linebackers can hold up against him and Cameron Brate. He's also a pretty good tight end.
Yeah. O.J. Howard.
It'll be interesting.
O.J. Howard worries me a little bit, and then I remember Jayon Brown and Aaron Wallace, and those guys are going to be there. And so it's like, okay, like Brown definitely has the wheels to keep up with Howard. This is just going to be kind of a test on how his coverage ability is. Can he whip his head and his hips around in time? Can he, do the jump to actually break the ball away? And can he recognize the play, like the cuts and in and out? And will he get kind of fooled? So that's going to be something. Do you think Vaccaro is going to be up to speed enough to How long do you think Vaccaro will play in this game? We'll say it like that. Do you think it'll just be one drive, or since he's still getting used to it, will he be out there with the twos as well, just kind of extra time?
Nah, bro. I think Vaccaro's straight, man. But Vaccaro, he's not a rookie, man. He's a veteran. He's been an All-Pro.
Yeah, but he's an All-Pro
just
now joining a new scheme, new defense, new everything.
But here's the thing, bro. Like, in the defensive system that he joined, he's already been in a similar defense. Like, he's been moved around in every spot in previous defenses that he's been in, and that's what Dean Pease does. He's going to move him around. So I'm not even in the least bit worried about Vaccaro finding familiarity or being comfortable. He's a pro, bro. He's going to do what he has to do, and you're not going to see the drop-off with him. You know what I mean? That's not going to be the area where the drop-off's going to be. With Vaccaro, he'll be fine.
Not at all. But, I mean, reality is that, you can only learn so much in a week, And so, like, 2 weeks in, maybe they keep him out there a little bit longer just so he has a little bit more practice. I'm not worried about his smarts or his ability. I'm worried about, like, hey, it's a new system. We want you to get used to the way we do things. Maybe you stay out there a little bit longer than all the other ones will. Maybe you'll stay out there for, like, with the twos just a little bit longer. Maybe like 1 or 2 extra drives kind of thing, I don't know.
Maybe. I guess I could see that, but I don't know why he would be the one staying with the twos.
Well, because he just got to Tennessee like last week.
No, I know, but he's played longer than some of the people in our secondary, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing. Like has a couple more seasons under his belt than some of our secondary.
That's
so true. I don't. And then with the safety depth already being kind of taking a hit, I don't think you want to leave Vaccaro, who has had injuries in the past. He's not the guy you're going to want to leave out there.
So why didn't we bring Reed in? I think is my other question with safety. Whenever Crookshank went down, why didn't we bring Reed in? Is it because he's likely to come back soon, so we need camp bodies, so it's not that big of a deal? Because that's kind of where I'm at. Or is it because something else? Like, what do you think? Where's your stance on that? Because they said if we needed help in the future, even though Reed missed all the flights, we'll definitely keep him in mind. But we had a safety go down, and Reed wasn't brought in. What's your take? What's your thought?
Yeah, I think it's price, and I think Terrell was the cheaper option because you're just signing a guy for depth. You're not signing another starter. Would it have been awesome to have 3 starting safeties on the team? Hell yeah, of course. There's no such thing as too much depth. But I think right now, they took the conservative approach. Okay, let's sign Terrell. He's a serviceable backup. He's good for depth. He's not going to break the bank. And if we have to spend, 2 weeks from now, say another unexpected injury happens and we have to go grab somebody else at a different position, knock on wood. I hope that doesn't happen. But you're not going to want to invest so much money in just your safeties.
But we got Vaccaro for so cheap though. Like you got to imagine it'd be around that. Cheap. Maybe. So, okay, that makes sense. I'm just trying to look at it from all angles, whether I agree or disagree. I'm just trying to cover everything. So the only way we bring Reed back is if Byard or Vaccaro go down. And to me, like I said before, whenever they didn't sign Reed and they signed Terrell, it seemed to me like they knew that Cruikshank wasn't going to be out for very long, so they just kind of needed something in its place just in case either the injury lasted longer than they originally thought, or they just wanted kind of camp bodies.
Well, I don't think Terrell will be a camp body once it's all said and done. I think he does have a shot to make the roster. But, is he going to be just like a placeholder for now with Cruikshank out? I mean, because we don't know how long he's going to be out. Possibly. But I don't know, man. It's going to be curious to see what happens. If you sign Reed, he has to be on your 53. He's not signing to be a tryout. Like Vaccaro, he wasn't signing to be a tryout player.
No, but he's got a bonus for if he makes the 53, so they don't even for sure. Like, from a financial standpoint, they're looking at it like, oh, we don't even know for sure if you're going to make this. Or in the back of their head, they're like, well, obviously you'll probably make the 53. But they're playing it as that type of situation. And so, like, they could also play that with Reed of like, oh, we don't know for sure if you're going to make the 53. And so that was my kind of, like, my ears kind of perked up a little bit on that. Like, well, like 4 days ago, you said if we have this need, and then now we have this need and you're not signing him, like, what's the deal? Like, and this might be my ignorance showing a little bit, but Reed is a free safety or strong safety?
He's anything, bro. Last year he played a little bit of linebacker because Jaquiski Tart kind of took over for him as a starting defensive back. He can play any defensive back position.
Okay.
But he played a lot of linebacker last season. So he can play anywhere, bro. He's kind of like Vaccaro. They're almost the same exact mold.
Except Vaccaro has a better travel agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Well, lesson to you kids out there. If you're going to be big and famous, get a good travel agent. Get a very good travel agent. Or just drive out there. Because if I was out there and, like, if they're like, hey, we actually have a tryout for you for an NFL team, my first flight got canceled, man, I would jump in my freaking auntie's car and drive all the way out there and be like, I'm here. I'm good. I'm a little bit tired. I've been up for 48 hours straight, but I'm here. Let's do it. So,
yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, real quick, we'll recap. What are some things that you're looking for specifically in the Bucs game coming up? And is there anything you want to see up until then, or anything like that? What are you looking out for?
Well, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on what news comes out of the joint practices. I want to see how chippy they are, because a lot of times you can tell how the game's going to go based off of how the joint practices have been going. If it's very, very chippy, then expect for a slugfest on Saturday night. If you're not hearing too much buzz about, players throwing blows or whatever, then, it's probably just going to have a standard feel to it on Saturday night. What my honest opinion is our defensive line is going to destroy the Buccaneers, man. The Buccaneers offensive line. They're depleted. I think they're lacking like 2 starters. One of their starters, I think, is Brad Seaton, who was like a 7th-round pick of ours last year. I actually liked Brad Seaton when he joined the squad because he was so nasty, and I liked that. And he was so huge. But obviously that didn't translate into earning a roster spot with us. Not even a practice squad spot, I don't think. Maybe he spent a little bit of time on practice squad. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look. But I think he's one of their starters, man.
No.
And I just think our defensive line is going to eat him alive. So if our defensive line can completely destroy the offensive line up front, that's going to help our cornerbacks. That's going to help our cornerbacks because the quarterbacks are going to have to get the ball out a lot faster, meaning that Fitzpatrick could be throwing it a little early when the receiver's not all the way through their route. There's going to be a lot of rush throws. I'm expecting a big-time defensive performance, a big-time bounce-back defensive performance. Offensively, it's going to be a good challenge for our offensive line because Gerald McCoy, he had a solid game against Miami, and he's always been a very efficient pass rusher during this time in Tampa. So he'll be a player I'll watch. The main thing is just making sure Mariota stays upright.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a little bit more of Derrick Henry. He only had a couple of runs. They were good runs, positive yardage runs, but I think we'll see a lot more action of the running backs on Saturday. I think maybe we'll even see Davis. I think there's like a 50-50 chance we see Corey Davis Saturday against the Bucs. But if not, then I for sure think we see him against Pittsburgh. It's going to be it's going to be interesting to see Jameis Winston, because he'll probably play the second quarter again. And, he'll make his completions. He looked pretty sharp. But he's going to be going against, our third stringers. So same thing he did with Miami. Of course he's going to pad the stats. But I don't know. I don't think he'll have a very good day, man, if Finch is in there. I don't think he'll have a very good day. He was already sacked once against Miami. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, they wrapped him up.
Jeez, man. I don't know about you, but I am so happy the Bucs took him and left.
Me too. I thank God every day, man.
Oh my goodness, it's just like, oh man, like they're night and day. They really, really are. And it's just like, man, thank you. I don't hate the Bucs near as much as I used to before, just because they took Winston and left us with Mariota, because I think he would have been our pick either way. He would have been my pick either way, and it just, holy cow, I'm so happy. I really am.
We got to be eternally grateful for them making that decision to take Winston over Mariota. Especially since John Robinson was on that staff, on that scouting team.
That surprises me. It really does. That's the only thing that's just like, maybe he didn't have enough clout, or maybe he didn't have enough say in the draft process at that point. Or maybe he just took it as a learning lesson.
Maybe it's a conspiracy. Maybe he knew there were rumblings he could get the job in Tennessee, so maybe he fluffed up Winston's resume a little bit. Maybe he threw a few red flags in the garbage.
Maybe Robinson was the one that said the only red flag on Mariota is that he has no red flags. Oh, that's genius. I'm going to pull my tinfoil hat out now and put it on and be like, oh my gosh. That's exactly what it was. You're a genius, Mo. That's amazing. I love it. Oh man, I'm just so happy every time I see Winston and Mariota. Like, just comparison wise, it's just like, thank you, Tampa Bay. Just another thing that you did for the betterment of everybody else. I love it.
Yeah, it's just so crazy, man, how it worked out, and the two are going to be linked forever
Oh,
because of that too.
forever.
It's just,
And Winston's going to be linked forever with the Titans either way because, like, a pop quiz trivia question, who is the first player that Winston ever threw a touchdown pass to? Like, oh, Titans.
yeah, they both threw it to a Titans player, man.
Yeah, like, it's just amazing. It's just, oh, man, I'm so happy. I really, really am. Like, he has talent, but I don't know if it's heart, soul, or brains that he lacks, but maybe a little bit of all of them. But at some point, it's just like, man, come on. Like, you can't be this not smart. I'm not going to say dumb, because to grasp any kind of playbook, you have to be at least kind of smart.
No,
But,
he's
like,
not. He's not dumb football wise, bro.
no.
Like, he makes some poor decisions off the field, very poor decisions, but the dude knows football.
He does. And he can improv like crazy back there. And, like, I'm not a huge fan of him, obviously, but, like, I respect his football ability. If we were on, like, a backyard kind of football game, like after dinner on Thanksgiving, like, I would obviously, like, he would be a great quarterback because he just kind of runs around back there and then throws it up and, like, puts it in a good position. But, like, as far as an NFL type team, like, oh, Mariota all day long. And, like, on one hand, I'm kind of nervous about the contract we're going to give him, but on the other hand, I'm like, no, he totally deserves it. Even if his numbers and stats don't reflect it, he is the glue that keeps that entire team together. So it's worth it, you know? And so I'm also really interested to see how that whole thing is going to play out next season, because Luwan showed up to practice. Didn't do a whole lot, obviously, but, like, while he was waiting for a contract, he showed up to practice still while they were, like, hammering out the details and everything. So I'm really hoping Mariota does the same thing. Shows up to practice and is still at least there for appearance-wise and for team sake-wise and, you know, team-first kind of mentality, and then his contract gets done. I'm nervous about a holdout, not from Mariota's mentality or, like, the way he works, but, like, his agent would obviously tell him, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't show up. I'm hoping that Luwan set a precedent of you can still show up and get the contract that you want at the same time. And so that's something that I'm going to be kind of looking at next season.
I think, to your point, man, a lot of the aftermath of whatever the 2018 season bring will make that picture a lot more clear to us.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot more clear. If Mariota balls out, there's no question he gets a contract more than likely as soon as the season's over, whenever that may be.
I hope so, man. And
you
I
brought up a good point, though, about his agent kind of being the one who could influence him to possibly miss a day or two and not follow in Luwan's footsteps. If you remember, Mariota, it took him a while to sign with the team, to sign his rookie deal, because there was that offset language stuff that was keeping the two sides apart. So, I mean, you would think that it would be a no-brainer. Oh, it's Mariota. There's no way that he's not going to show up and be there for his teammates and sign his deal. But it might not be up to him. If he's taking the advice of his agent, then, you know, who knows what we'll see. If he has a bad year, a down year, and God forbid another injury-laced year, then the Titans kind of have a little bit of leverage there. So he probably won't get as big of a deal as he would had he, or should he, finish the season 100% healthy and hopefully late into January, February.
And that's what I'm kind of concerned about that. But now that we know, like, Mariota, and now that what little bit of personality has kind of leaked out into the public knowledge and to, like, media and stuff like that, like, it seems like he would kind of look at it as, well, my left tackle set this kind of precedent of show up but still keep negotiating kind of thing, which is not something you see. I mean, Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, all these people are just like, nope, screw you. I'm going to sit at home and work out while you guys figure this out. It's a little thing. I think it's pretty underrated that Luwan still showed up, he's still, I mean, he wasn't like full on practicing by any means, but he was there.
He did miss mandatory minicamp, though.
He did,
that can't be swept under the rug.
That's true.
But showing up for training camp, that's the big one.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if Mariota misses mandatory minicamp, that's completely different than Taylor Lewan, I would think, bro. That's my own personal opinion, because if he misses mandatory minicamp, nobody on that offense can get better.
But here's the thing, though. I think he's going to look at it and say, my left tackle did this. I have to go above and beyond and do this. You know, if he doesn't get a contract right after the season, whatever the outcome may be, he's going to have to one-up his left tackle, which normally is not a very vocal person in the team. But, you know, Taylor Lewan is Taylor Lewan. I mean, we all know and love him because he is the way he is. But he's going to have to do even one better, because quarterback is typically the leader, the most vocal, the most paid attention to, the everything, the face of the franchise. He's going to have to do even better than that. So Lewan broke ground by doing this, like at least showing up for practice, even though it wasn't during the mandatory or anything like that. He at least showed up while they were still working that out. So he set the bar pretty high. It doesn't seem like it, but he set the bar pretty high, and now the quarterback has to go above and beyond that. So I'm not too worried about it. The only thing that I'm worried about is statistic-wise, if he has a Joe Flacco type of flash. You know, like, oh, a contract season, I got to get as far as I can. Once I get that contract, then I'm going to go to McDonald's or whatever, and then just completely whatever the rest of my contract. And that's exactly what Flacco did. I mean, now they're talking. I mean, they drafted Lamar Jackson in the first round, and Flacco's still under contract. And it's like, yeah, no, you're not doing anything for us. And I'm not saying Mariota has that mentality or that temperament, but I'm worried about that type of statistical production of him flashing right now, and he gets that contract, and then LaFleur ends up being a head coach somewhere else, because that's another thing that we have to worry about. And then his production just kind of trails off. Not intentionally, and not because Mariota's just, obviously he's a very high character guy and a very loved person in Tennessee, in Hawaii. I mean, nobody hates Mariota. Nobody hates him. And I'm not saying he would do it intentionally, but like production wise, that's what I'm worried about. He's got a great season in contract year, and then it kind of tapers off. So that's what I'm looking.
I think they're looking super far ahead, man. And
yeah,
I don't peg him for being a Flacco type to do that. I think it's ingrained in him to want to win and to want to be the best. I mean, anytime he's been asked a question about who he models his professionalism after, he does reference Tom Brady, and he references him for his longevity and how he prepares himself for the game. Yes, Brady, everybody calls him cheater, this and that, but at the end of the day, he's the best to do it, man. Of our generation, he's the best to do it, cheating or not cheating. And so for Mariota, I think you brought up a good point when you said you mentioned something about Taylor Lewan. Everybody loves him, but Marcus needs to be the face. And I would disagree with you on that, because I think Taylor Lewan is hands down the face of the organization. He's the face, but I think Marcus is the heart. He's the heart of the team, and John Robinson is the brains. So we got all three key pieces in place. All we need is Mariota to have a good season, and I mean the contract will write itself. I don't think nobody needs to panic. No anxiety needs to be built. I think it's going to work out fine.
That's a really cool way of looking at it, actually. I like that. I'm going to go into the entire season, just holding you to that. So, J-Rob is the brains, Lewan is the face, and Mariota is the heart. Is there a soul at all?
The soul, let's see, who can I give the soul to? I'm going to give the soul to Kerry Coombs, just because I wish Kerry Coombs was my soul. If Philippines was my soul, I'd be able to, have that rocket ship fuel for blood, and I'd just be all over the place. But
What about
no,
Casey?
I,
Casey, Delaney Walker, any of
yeah,
these guys? Like,
yeah,
you're gonna
those are
go with
good ones.
Combs?
Those are good ones. That's something we should put for who's the soul. That'd be a
Okay.
good poll question. Who's the soul of the team?
Okay.
Because that's a good question, man. But I don't know. Delaney would be a good one. Who else? Who else is a good candidate? I think you nailed them. Delaney, Casey, Arakpo. That's a good one too.
Arakpo, yeah. Ooh, we're gonna have to put. Yeah, we're gonna put a poll out. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna edit the podcast over the next 24 hours, but I'm definitely gonna put a poll out probably tonight, and we're gonna say J-Rob is the brains, Luan is the face, Mariota's the heart. Who will be the soul? And I'm really looking forward to these answers.
Mitch Firkins, maybe. Oh no, we better limit it to it's got to be somebody on the team.
Yeah.
Either somebody on the team or in the administrative part of the team.
Amy Wells. Amy Wells is the soul of this Titans organization. Right there.
She could be considered. Mike Keith.
Amy Adams Strunk.
Amy Adams Strunk.
Ooh.
Man, there's a lot of good ones. It's going to be interesting to see what the followers think, man.
Yeah,
to see what write-ins they tweet at us, you know what I mean? Because it could be some surprise names that roll through there.
Interesting. All right, well, that's our poll question for this episode. I got
That's an awesome poll question.
Yeah. All right, well, is there anything else you want to hit before we wrap it up?
No, I don't got nothing else, man. I just, thank you to everybody who's listening now and to supporters of the podcast. We're going to try to make this a regular thing from here on out, so we'll be trying to release episodes every week, recapping the games, kind of sharing our thoughts on what transpired in the games, picking out maybe some of the standout players, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to try and record on Sunday evenings, Sunday nights, and kind of kick the episode out. Within the next couple of days of that. So that way we don't have knee-jerk reactions of, oh my God, it's just the same Titans of old. We lost to the Green Bay Packers. Like anything like that. We're gonna kind of try to come at you guys with sensible, well-rounded opinions and takes and everything. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be our first full season of coverage, which is really interesting because, we started this randomly, you and I, Mo, just kind of talking. And you mentioned earlier, this is one of our first episodes in a while where it's just you and I.
Yeah.
And, these are the type of episodes that everybody should start to get used to, because we're not always going to have a Jim Wyatt or a Rhett Bryan or someone on, because right now they're busy. So this is the kind of stuff that, you're going to kind of get used to and going to hear on a weekly basis. And if you guys have any, constructive criticism, questions, comments, concerns, anything for us, obviously feel free to reach out to us at Titan Southwest on Twitter or at big_Mo_Titans SW. And for those of you who aren't thinking completely clearly right now, SW does, in fact, stand for Southwest. Not any of the crazy stuff you were thinking in your head. It stands for Southwest. Don't get weird on us. Don't get, kind of borderline crazy on us. Southwest. So, both great follows. If I do say so myself, we try to stay active. We try to interact with everybody. We're going to try and get more interactive on Instagram, but Twitter just seems like a really good medium. Facebook, we're still kind of up in the air about, because it just seems like, Facebook seems like the Walmart of social media. Not a bad thing by any means. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but there's a lot of crazy people on Facebook. And so it's just like, I don't know about that. So for sure, Twitter. Gonna go to Instagram next, and then something else afterwards.
Now we'll have our own site up soon too, and then something else I wanted to mention. was Lito mentioned we'll be recording on Sundays. So we're also gonna pitch like a mailbag, Titan Southwest mailbag. That way you guys could send in your questions and we'll answer some of them on the show. We'll pick some out.
Yeah.
That way, we can have more interaction. And also, we're still going to have guests roll through. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that we kind of wanted to touch on that we kind of haven't even mentioned in a while, it's still a go, is we're going to bring guests on 10 minutes with a Titans fan.
Yes.
We kind of haven't been doing, well, we haven't done that at all. But we are going to do it, especially throughout the season, because I think that'll be where it's the most interesting to bring people on, like after a big win or after unexpected loss, and just to get those live reactions from you guys, from the supporters. So keep following, and it's going to be a great season, definitely for all of us.
Yeah, 10 minutes with a Titans fan is something that, Mo, you brought up early on, and I thought it was a great idea. And it's something we really want to do. We're really passionate because we want to connect with you guys. But like you said, I mean, it's one of those things that would have more impact and more oomph, which is a UMPH kind of oomph. When the season actually starts and when it's actually here. Outside of that, it's like, oh, Mr. So-and-so, what was your reaction to this rumor that we heard from some third-rate reporter? Like, it's not really impactful, but like during the season, it's going to be absolutely great. So we're really looking forward to that. We have a list of people who have already said that they would be more than willing and happy to join. So you know who you are. You're definitely on the list, and we have you. But for anybody else who wants to join into the 10 Minutes with the Titans fan kind of spot, we'd love to have you. Everything's open. I mean, we can have a whole episode of just 10 minutes with the Titans fan, and it's an hour and 20 minutes. I don't care. Like, we really want to interact with you guys. And the mailbag, whatever questions you have, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not really one to shy away from answering any kind of question. And I don't think Mo is either. Like, genuinely, whether it's about the Titans, whether it's about really anything, guys, just talk to us. Like, we love interacting with you guys. You guys are great. You've been great to us from the very beginning. We love it. We appreciate it. And it's so awesome. Like, it's wild. It really, really is wild that two freaking Latinos from New Mexico have a following for a professional football team in Tennessee. It's great.
Oh, speaking of that, bro. I gotta tell a story, and then we'll close out the episode.
Ooh, cracking egg and knowledge all over me, Mo. I'm ready.
Oh, here it goes, dude.
Oh, come on, man.
Cracked egg.
Egg all over.
We're going. we're buying my son some shoes, right? And we're in the mall, and I had just ordered this shirt, this Mariota shirt from @FastNasty, Keaton. He had 25 of these shirts printed. I think he still has a couple left. But I have this shirt, and it's Marcus Maserati. And it's like Kid Marcus, and it's a baby blue shirt. Shirt's fire, bro. So I'm wearing it, and we're in the sports store because I'm buying my son his first pair of J's, bro, that he's ever had. And I explained to him, too, this is another side note. I said, bro, I didn't own a pair of J's until I was 17 years old, bro. So, feel that. You'll understand that when you're older.
Yeah.
And, he kind of just looked at me like, whatever, Dad. And, anyways, picked out his shoes. So as I'm standing there while he's trying on shoes, and my wife was helping him, pick the right shoes.
Yeah.
I was with my other son. And this guy walks up to me and he says, wow, man, I really like your shirt. He worked there. It was at Hibbert's. And I said, thanks, man. It's only, 1 of 25 made, and ordered it from this guy Keaton. And he's like, yeah, that's awesome, man. He's like, I'm from Tennessee. I just actually moved down here.
No.
I said, oh, wow, that's crazy, man. I said, well, you're talking to the right guy, bro. And, kind of chatted with him for a little bit, introduced myself, told him about the podcast. He went and got a little sticky posted and wrote our names down and all that stuff. And he recommended some spots to hit up when we go to the game in Tennessee.
What?
He was a cool guy, bro. And I was like, what are you doing down here? And he said, oh, I just came down here, man. I'm living out here now or whatever. He had his reasons. I'm not going to disclose his reasons, but
No, that's fine.
But yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool to see somebody, man, from Tennessee and in our neck of the woods, man, and you know, to get that recognition of, hey, I know who's on your shirt, instead of all the head scratching looks I was getting, you know, from everybody else. But you know, he asked me too. He said, "Hey, man, where do you usually watch the games?" I said, "Here, bro. They ain't gonna show no Tennessee games here, bro. You gotta get that direct ticket, bro. Direct TV Sunday ticket, or you can take your chances on streaming them. But you know, it's gonna be hit or miss, bro. I'm telling you. That's the only reason why I have direct TV is for the Sunday ticket.
Yeah, or you can get a slightly illegal, Fire Stick. That's what we recently hired a Uber nerd at my work, and he may or may not have done that for me, and it is amazing. Not may or may not have, but it is absolutely amazing. Just throwing that out there. But yes,
I may need to cop me one of those, man. But I watched the Titans game on a stream, the preseason game on a stream, and it wasn't too bad. So we'll see. But I mean, with my Titans, I don't like to take any chances, bro.
No,
I'll pay a little bit now, even if I do pay after the game's over and I'm miserable. But you know, this year doesn't look like it's going in that direction. No. So shout out to the guy, man, at Hibbert's, if you're listening to this.
Hibbert Sports. For plausible deniability, you know who you are at Hibbert Sports. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's awesome. We really appreciate you, and you better be listening. If you are listening, you know what you need to do is you need to sign up for Twitter if you don't already have one, follow Titan Southwest, and then I will give you the biggest shout out that I possibly can, because that is absolutely awesome. And I actually have a similar story. Do you know the comedian Trey Crowder?
I'd be lying if I said I did, bro. Should
okay.
I?
Yeah, he's funny. He really, Trey Crowder.
What's he in?
Nothing.
Or is he just stand up? Is he?
Yeah, he's stand up. He's in nothing like of big notoriety, essentially. But he came to fame in like random YouTube clips and stuff like that. But he actually came to my wife's work of doing stand-up, and we got some tickets and everything, and we watched him, and I was wearing my Delaney Walker brand new jersey that I got for Father's Day, which was
nice,
awesome. I freaking love my wife for it. But she got me a brand new jersey of Delaney Walker with the little ding on the top right corner of the number, and I was wearing that just because Titans fan, you know. But we got to actually meet them afterwards, and he was super cool. He's like, "Hey, man, you even got the brand new jersey. I have a Mariota jersey of that." And it was just
he's a Titans fan?
Oh, he's a Titans fan. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And like my wife was like super excited to meet them and just like crushing on him like super hard. But then like the whole conversation turned to, "Oh yeah, no, he's a Titans fan." And it's like, "Oh, how is he a Titans fan in New Mexico?" It's like, "Oh, well, he was with them since they were the Oilers." And the whole conversation turned to my fandom, which I loved. I absolutely loved it. We got pictures with them and everything, and they were like on a comedy tour and stuff. But it was really, really cool to like talk to somebody. He's from Tennessee and everything. He lives in LA now. But, yeah, he's a big Titans fan, and I talked to him about the Titans, and it was like, that's awesome, dude. And that was just last night. That was really, really cool.
I'm going to have to look, bro. If he's a Titans fan, that's a plus already.
Yeah, he's actually really funny. He's a comedian. Yeah, he's actually really funny, but he came recently, and he was cool. He was a chill dude, just like most Titans fans. Like, whenever I run into a Titans fan at, like, the gas station or something, they see my hat, because I wear the same hat pretty much every day. And it's the one that I bought from the actual Tennessee game that I went to whenever they were facing the Browns. And it's just a blacked out hat with the Tennessee logo. And most Titans fans that I see are super chill. And he was like, hey, tighten up. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, dude? Like, give me a hug. I don't know you, but you're awesome. Like, give me a big, really big hug. And it's only awkward if we make eye contact. This is amazing. Like, thank you. Like, it's like eating a banana with people in the break room at your work. Like, you don't make eye contact, you know? But like,
oh man.
But like, it's amazing. Like, there are certain things like, but I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Like, just hold me, Trey Cowder. Like, this is awesome. Another Titans fan. I don't care. I don't care. But it was just really, really great. And whenever you run into somebody from Tennessee, like you did at Hibbert Sports, shout out Hibbert Sports, and you know who you are. Thank you for hooking my boy up. But just like anybody that is from Tennessee or a Titans fan, like, it's absolutely amazing because we are a quote unquote small market team. And it's so great to see somebody like out in the wild. There's just like you want to go up and give them a hug, and you know it's perfectly fine with them because they need that tighten up hug just as much as you do.
Yeah. So this is just to everybody listening out there. If you see us, Lito's the one that will go up to you and hug you.
I'm a hugger.
I'll be a little more reserved.
I am a hugger. I'm okay with that. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. If you want to give me a hug, I'm fine with it. I won't push it on you, but that's awesome. If you want to do just a high five or a knuckle bump, like Howie Mandel style, I'm completely okay with that. Whatever you want to do. But like, I love it. I love it. Big Mo will be the guy in the corner just kind of throwing you up a peace sign. Like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I only throw 2 signs up, bro. One is peace and one's one less finger than that. So,
see, I use like the peace as like a kind of like a grandparent's hello. Like, oh, hey, hello. But like my friends and everything, I throw up the finger.
The horn?
No, not at all. I've become a Vols fan. I actually have become a Vols fan just because of the Titans. Like, I used to be a Michigan State fan just because of the whole, like, Greek mythology kind of take on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured, hey, if I'm going to be a Titans fan, I'm going to be all in. I'm going to be Tennessee all the way because I don't really care about college sports outside of that. Like, I mean, be honest, Mo, when's the last time you really cared about the Lobos? At all.
Well, that's the thing, bro. I don't care really about the Mexico teams, but Longhorns, baby, hook 'em horns.
Exactly. You have like certain teams that you're like super
I like the
okay
Aggies,
with.
bro. I gotta show love to my NMSU Aggies, bro. I always hope they put in work against the Lobos and UTEP. So I gotta always root for my Aggies. Pistols up, bro. Aggies up.
Now, I get that. I got a cousin who's actually out there, so I pay attention to them, but I'm a Vols fan now. And partly because they're the Volunteers, and it's like a really unique kind of mascot and everything. But also, they have a dog that is like a super mascot and everything, and he's like the goodest boy you could ever see. And so, and then also he's in Tennessee.
Goodest boy.
He is the goodest boy, and with an I, not a Y. He's the goodest boy. It's amazing. Like, I love that dog already. So, like, yeah, I'm a Vols fan. So that's a whole nother thing that we can or cannot get into. It doesn't really matter. But I appreciate the hook 'em horns. I appreciate the Aggies. I guess I appreciate the Lobos just because they're UNM, University of New Mexico. Their football team is the Lobos, which has produced such notable NFL players as Brian Urlacher. And that's it.
Don't mention him. Don't mention the other guy, bro.
No, I'm not going to. Brian Urlacher is probably one of the best things that's come out of New Mexico, aside from green chili, in a very, very long time. And then we are actually third on that list. So that's great.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, like, I don't give a whole lot of attention to the Lobos, and they're actually cutting a lot of their athletic teams. But I'm a Vols fan. through and through. Now it's just like, you know what, I'm going to put all my chips on the table for the Vols. So that's really cool. And I know a lot of Vols followers actually started. They were one of our first mass follows from the very beginning. So I appreciate them, and that kind of solidified our following and solidified my fandom. So now I really pay attention to them. I'm
with you. I got a spot in my heart for the Vols too, man. I'll root for them as long as they're not playing Texas. And I mean, if you're a Titans fan, bro, hell, you're an Oilers fan, so you got to have some love for Texas Longhorns. Some of the best Longhorns became Titans. So
that's actually a really good point, actually. So if you're a Titans fan, you should contractually be half Vols, half Texas fan.
Shout out to Mike Herndon and to Justin Graver, Titans Film Room.
Yeah. Oh, man. Shout out to both of those follows, actually, because they are seriously really great follows. If you guys aren't following them, give them a follow. They break down everything, and it's just a well of information for us as hosting the podcast, and for really any Titans fans. Like, they're seriously great, and we're obviously not getting compensated at all, but especially not for this shout out. Like, we haven't had them on in a very long time, but just genuinely really great follows. Give them a follow, because you won't be disappointed. And if you are, Duke's up, fight me. I don't care. Like, they're great. Anyways, we kind of got off on a tangent.
Yeah, that's okay, bro.
That's okay. This is fun. This is what podcasts are for, man. We're gonna record all this. We're gonna lay it down. We're gonna edit it out, and we're gonna publish it, because this is what you guys signed up for. Whenever you hit the subscribe button, like, two guys just talking about football, and Titans football nonetheless, which we don't get a lot of. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I really do. I know you asked this before, but since we brought up just a plethora of topics between then and now, is there anything else you want to talk about? I'm down.
No, I'm gonna leave the listeners with a little statement. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls, and tighten up.
Do not feed the trolls. That is a very, very good point. And tighten up, suckers.